Sorry, Tom. I was just suddenly
Don't worry.
the sun's. I've got a south-facing garden, and I'm that posh. And the sun's kind of. We got to the time when it's shining right in through my office. So
yeah.
but
I
it's
mean,
fine.
no sun here today, so I'm kind of.
Your apartment looks amazing, man.
Thank you,
cool,
thank you.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I got we're moving in a couple of weeks.
Sure, it's hold up. Where is it? You can't see it, but in the corner next to it, there's the mat wall. Has all Matt Ferguson prints.
We are so live right now. Hello, guys.
We live.
Hello, people.
Are we on this internet?
We are. We should be on the internet. Yeah.
Right.
No, we're not.
We should be.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, we are. Six people are watching. 6 people.
We'll let those numbers come up.
Let me do a tweet and then.
Yeah. Hello, guys.
Oh, yeah. Just let me do a tweet.
Well,
the numbers are going up.
Whatever. We are live talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Inception style. Hold up. Getting on the gram.
I'm just gonna do a tweet.
There we go, Tom.
Oops. The people can't hear us, but we are live now. AMPjam, swipe up.
Is it not working?
Huh? What's not working?
We're just letting people come in. We're just letting people filter in.
I just tweeted the wrong thing. Hang on.
Oh yeah, you should definitely delete that as immediately as possible.
I've deleted it.
I missed that. I've closed
AMPjam.org. Everyone.
Yeah, who is that .org? Everything's .com. Jeez, it's not my fault.
Well, there's a cyberspace.
It was cheaper.
It was cheaper. That's true.
Yeah.
Vicepress.com's for sale, and it's up for sale for like $4,000. Right.
There you go.
Crikey Moses.
Really good.
Okay, got you guys tagged and everything.
I can see you all. Let's go.
Can we wait for the numbers to go up?
Why?
27.
27.
31. Gareth, could you do me a favor? I know we're live, but could you tell Key to put the links already up that people can go on there before and be waiting until we go live?
What, you mean in future?
Yeah, the future ones.
So yes, I'll get her to do that, yeah.
Are the mics up as well?
Yes, the mics are up. We can hear us. We are completely live, but we're just... Okay, we're at 50 now. I think we should go because the numbers will tick up from there.
Yeah.
So I'll start then, shall I? I'm going to start now. We're starting. Hello. You're back with AMPjam, and we have the illustrious Vice Press and Matt Ferguson with us for our next panel. We're delighted to have you guys. We are, thank you so much for being part of this. I know that, that you're all very busy, and yet you're spared.
It's a Saturday as well.
It's a Saturday. I know.
1 o'clock on a Saturday.
1 o'clock on a Saturday, and it's an achievement. We're super grateful.
Thanks.
Welcome back to AMPjam. We had Andy Fairhurst just before, and obviously there was a few technical glitches, but we've sorted them now. Here we are with Vice Press and Matt Ferguson. Obviously,
is that what I'm referred to now? So is it Vice Press?
James Henshaw, James Henshaw, the legendary James Henshaw. It's because I'm just.
I don't know about that.
The legendary James Henshaw, the infamous James Henshaw.
That's the weird thing, isn't it? It's like Vice Press and Matt Ferguson. Matt Ferguson is Vice Press as well, so it's like how do we kind of make a less clumsy way of referring to
say
that?
Vice Press and Matt Ferguson.
Well, speaking from a personal point of view, it was very difficult to market that. Anyway, I'm
being difficult, Gareth, deliberately. It's fine.
Obviously, we just had Andy on, and he was mentioning, some stuff that he has coming out, and things that relate to some of the releases you've got going on, and he's showed us a couple of very small previews of Jaws, and obviously we now have you releasing a Jaws 4 editions.
We do indeed.
And thank you for putting it out on this weekend. It's amazing. And also, I understand that the first 100 people get a freebie, right?
Yeah. So so Andy's done a Jaws 1 and Jaws 2 print for us, which we're releasing with Bottleneck. and we're kind of spacing those out a little bit, so that'll be available over the next month or so, probably either New York Comic Con or Thought Bubble. But we like work. Andy's a great guy. In fact, most of the guests, all of the guests that you've got for AMPjam are great. But yeah, no, we've got Matt's we've got Matt's Jaws from Editions coming out today at 2:00. We're going to put them up live via the link that we're providing to you guys, but they go up by the general site at 5:00.
Okay, yeah, 5:00 is what I had in my head.
Yeah, we'll tell you a link in a bit. We'll give you a link at the end so that you have to stay through the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're doing a freebie pin. So everybody that kind of, the first 100 people that buy one of Matt's Jaws editions will get a free pin, which if you head over to Matt's Twitter and Facebook, or the Vice Press ones, you'll be able to see what that is.
We'll retweet that as well. We'll retweet that.
Cool.
Flory did it. Flory designed it.
And he's done quite a few pins.
All the pins, yeah.
Yeah, he's really good at pins.
He's the pin wizard. Yeah,
he's a pinball wizard. Anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, no, he's Flory's amazing at a lot of things. So if he's listening, that's in lieu of payment. But he's particularly amazing at doing pins because he just got that whole kind of thing down. And he's great at them. So yeah, he's done pretty much every pin I think we've done so far, Matt.
Would be.
I've not thought about it, probably, yeah.
Matt Ferguson, a man of few words.
I mean, now you got even some more pin artists in there. I mean, Tom Whalen is also a great pin artist.
Oh God, yeah. I've got a lot of. I've got his Ghostbusters ones, which are amazing.
I got a lot of Marvel ones. So I know that I love that they did the background for like all of his pins. It's like the 10 cent from the comic, you know what I'm talking about, and like that you can put a pin in there. That's a really cool thing. That a couple of people out there did that.
Yeah.
And but I want to ask you a question. Because I just saw Ben Turdick wrote. The wife isn't thrilled that he's watching a poster thing on a Saturday after working on posters all week. How's that for your families?
Well, it could be worse. He could be watching football. So there's that.
Fair. So on Jaws, so obviously it's an editions print, so it's an open edition piece, and this is like how many editions pieces do you have out now? Off the top of your head.
So officially, since we launched editions, I think there are 5. But what we've kind of done is we've retroactively some of the older stuff are now kind of in edition. So Doley's Cornetto trilogy is in there now, because that was one of the first that we had with this idea before we came up with the idea of doing it as a collection in its own right. We've adjusted the sizes from when Doley did his Cornetto trilogy to A2. But other than that, kind of theoretically they're within editions. So this is the 4th release that's kind of under that editions banner, but we have kind of done some that we've retroactively put into it. But the idea behind editions is that we wanted to kind of create, there's always a lot of customers that come into our store and we get a lot of messages saying, is this available? Is this going to be back in stock? So for casual buyers, there was always kind of something missing and they weren't always available to call in at the drop. So we wanted to have a product that everybody was able to purchase when they found our site or came across Matt's work or Doley's work or Raid's work, whoever it was, but they had the opportunity to get something. Or Jaws fans, if they wanted to get a Jaws poster, they had something in stock if they didn't know who the artists were. So we kind of wanted to do that where we had this collection available, but we wanted to retain the quality, but differentiate them from perhaps the limited edition screen prints. So that's hence why we do them at the A2 size. A2 is quite a common size in the UK. You can go to B&M Bargains and get a frame for £5, or you can go and get one custom framed. They're not as cost prohibitive. Because they're open, we can do them as lithographs as well. Lithographs look as beautiful as screen prints, in our opinion, when done the right way. You know, it's down to the quality paper. It's the same.
Or better.
Or better in some cases. Like Paul Mann's work looks...
Yeah, and the Flash Gordon, we just did it on the gold foil.
You can get a lot more accuracy, is that right? You get a lot more accurate with the colours and stuff with the litho, because you're not restricted to doing like layer by layer, you know.
Yeah, well, it's CMYK, so it's 4-color printing, but obviously it's more about how fine a dot pattern you can get. Because with a screen print, it's ink being pushed through a screen, obviously, and then the level of detail is dictated by the fineness of the mesh screen.
Sure. Yeah.
So you can't go. Usually screen prints you can go up to about 200 dpi, but litho's 300 and more, so it's a lot more detail. So Matt, when you approach a piece for editions, do you approach the design any differently to your other screen print work, like from the concept design? Are you trying to make? I'm just like to know. Do you try to make it, because there's obviously something where the audience is perhaps the potential purchase audience is larger. Are you trying to make it as more accessible in a way? But I mean, I think a lot of some of your art goes viral, so it's already pretty accessible, to be fair. No, I just sort of just do the same as I would if it was a screen print. Just try and make it as good as I can.
Nice. Right. Well, I mean, that's a good approach. I think
there is the benefit to some artists that we're working with. Like if they're newer artists and they're not as au fait with screen printing, there isn't the we don't go to them and say, look, you need to make this less than 9 colours or less, for example. They can pretty much go nuts. Like for example with Patrick Connons, for the thing, it's gorgeous. It's really nice. And even Matt's, your Flash Gordon, if that was a screen print, Matt, that would be probably 10 colours or so.
15
probably.
Yeah.
So then it would make it more expensive as a screen print, and it's kind of about keeping that. Even for the limited edition stuff as lithographs, like with Paul Mann's, if we want to stay to a certain price point, screen printing just becomes excessive in how much it costs. So yeah.
Sure. I will note. Will say. Obviously, we had a little bit of a rehearsal sort of chat a couple of days ago, and there was a little a lover's tiff on the size of paper, and I did notice that when James got it correct, there was a little smile on
That's
Matt's
because
face.
he was all gung ho about 50 by 70 centimeters and was like, "We're doing it 50 by 70 centimeters because that's the frame size." And we had like 3 or 4 things in the can, and I'd already said A2 before, hadn't I, James?
You had.
And then you go, actually, it's easier to get A2 frames, so they need to be A2, so we have to resize it all.
It was 100%.
That's all it was. It wasn't a
my
real
fault.
problem because I didn't have to do it. Better tell the artists resize it.
We're normally much more organised, but yeah. Originally, we wanted editions to be a set size, and Matt originally suggested A2, and I was like, no, maybe not. But then when we looked into it and actually asked people, heaven forbid we should do some market research, A2 came out as being the kind of size that would probably be better. So we kindly asked.
It's really just from getting a frame easily, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anything.
And we know A2 and 50 by 70 in the States is equally probably as difficult. So it's either a
that's why you
job
get 24 by 36, because that's not really a film poster size, but it is like a frame size. So many places do frames that size. So that's why.
And we immediately discounted 18 by 24 because it's such a difficult size to frame over here in the UK.
Yeah. Also, the dimensions are funny. It's more square, 18 by 24, I think.
Yeah.
So
it was actually, I mean, the turning point for me, I mean, obviously I tend to listen to Matt quite a lot, but I ordered one of Drew Millwood's posters that he did during the lockdown, and I got it, and when I got it in the post, I thought, oh Christ, yeah, this probably was the best way to go. So
what's that? What's the best way to go?
A2. Because a lot of Drews are A2.
Matt's like, oh, so I was right, yeah.
Oh, so somebody else did A2,
No.
and then you're like, okay, I'll do A2 now.
No,
That's
it
what
was
happened,
just,
wasn't
no, what it was I got an A2 and I looked at it and I thought, oh shit, Matt was right. So, yeah, and I'm like...
First swear word of the channel?
Oh, sorry.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
I'm not too proud to
We're not allowed
admit
to
when
swear
I'm
at
wrong.
all.
Well, no, I've been in two minds. I think just as don't feel like you're being constrained. I don't want to feel, but I would like to say. So I totally get this idea behind. Like you're talking about I'd like to talk about the sort of business, not business necessarily, but the gallery, I suppose. And I do totally get the, from my experience in terms of like, helping companies market. If people can't get what they want when they visit your site,
chances are they're not coming back. So having something, that moment where they do buy something, gets
it's all
them
about
into
getting a bigger audience, because
Yeah.
when you're doing limited editions, you say it's an edition of 200, that's how many people can buy it. That's your audience, really, in terms of the sales and where it's going. So with the open edition, you can just go. It's like when I do the cinema giveaways, they go in front of millions of people, so it's like a little bit different.
Yeah.
And they are still limited in nature. Like, they're not. When we say they're open edition, we're only going to kind of keep them rolling for 3 months, 6 months, or something like that. So they'll only ever be dictated by that, however many there is on there, and we'll kind of always put up what the final number is on them. But equally so, we're always kind of looking at how can we make our posters more accessible to those people that regularly buy from us as well. So again, going back to the pre-sale that we're going to do today, that's a bit of a thank you for people that have listened to us, or kind of even just paid heed that we've posted up some links and things. So we're always looking at how we can do these things, and we've got quite a few editions in the pipeline. We're working with artists like Nan Lawson. Nan Lawson's done some. They're for editions, aren't they, Matt? Yeah, they're going to be open. Matt Griffin's working on a few things, and Patrick Connon again, and bits and bobs like that. So there's a few artists. Andy Fairhurst, you've already mentioned. There's different artists that we're bringing into that, and that's not going to be instead of the limited stuff. That's still going to be there, and we're still going to be doing as many, if not more. We're kind of starting to pick up on our output now as well. So yeah, it's just about creating something for everybody. But yeah, you mentioned it. If somebody comes to the store and is looking for something, they've seen something on Google Images, and they find they can't buy it, chances are
they just go, why can't I buy this? So many people, if I post a poster that I've done, especially an old one, it's like, why can't I buy it? I'm like, it's sold out.
And it's sort of like if the only place they can really find it is eBay. They go to
Redbubble or something like that, where it's like a bootleg.
But it's like their allegiance becomes to that website, not yours. And if you can get someone as like a sort of gateway drug, an edition poster, and then it's like, then when they spot, if they're then on a mailing list or whatever, then you can get a screen, sell a screen print to them.
Gareth, can I have a couple of questions from the audience?
Oh, cool.
Pete Hendricks wants to know, how far ahead do you guys work with buying the license? Is it 12 months ahead or even more?
Hi Peter, thanks for the question. So it can be a long time. So there's one license that we've got at the minute that we've had for 18 months, and we've yet to release anything from it. And it's not because we've not got anything ready, it's because the 2 posters we've got are waiting for talent likeness approval. It can vary, like equally with the Universal Monsters. We've had that for a year now, I think, and we don't announce something generally until either very close to we're going to release something or that. But we don't tend to set artists working on a property until we've actually got the license, because loads of things can fall through. So there's no point in us investing our money and somebody else's time in doing that until the licenses are ready.
It's about a year out, isn't it?
Yeah, generally. And we're thinking ahead to the new licenses. So we're just talking through some new licenses now that we're starting to pick up, ready for probably a convention season next year.
Okay. There's some more questions. Michael Doherty says, can Matt do a Condor Man print, please?
What, the Disney film? Condor Man.
Condor Man. And somebody else is saying that's the first movie.
You sure he didn't want some? You sure it wasn't condiments? He wants some ketchup.
Condor Man. I don't know.
No,
that's what it says here. And another question is, at the end of an open edition run, will Vice Press say how many there were made in total?
Yes.
No way. I probably wouldn't have bothered.
What, on the basis of transparency?
Why? We're not writing the numbers on them, so it's nobody else's business.
Yeah, they're not on me. No.
And Damp Weasel wants to know, is bootlegging very common?
Yes.
That is something
hugely common. Redbubble, Teachit, places like that.
Don't buy from any of them. If you're buying from them, you're not supporting artists. You're not supporting independent companies.
Even if there's a genuine artist on that platform, they really shouldn't. They probably don't know.
Yeah.
Their business practices.
That was why why I wanted to cover editions in this, because, and I didn't know if we'd actually get to that topic of actual bootleggers, but the fact is that this gives you some competition in terms of price point and in terms of accessibility against like people who would bootleg, because if they can't find the poster that you want that's the limited one, they might go and try and find a bootleg version. And so for me it is for me in part it's like an anti-bootleg scheme.
Yeah, partly that's part of it. I mean, bootlegging's a nightmare. So let's separate the two out. So what we're not talking about is upcoming artists that create work in their bedroom and they go to conventions and sell it or have their own little store. That's how a lot of people get.
Yeah, that's different.
Found. That's different. What we're talking about are companies like T-Chip, Redbubble that will allow their users, and that's what they hide behind, which is disgusting. They hide behind their users will find these images and upload them and sell them via their mini stores.
And they can feign ignorance of it until they're told.
Yeah. And they have, in the US, there's kind of
an infringement.
Yeah, exactly. They have to act within a reliable, within a certain period of time. And they leave it until the last minute. You send cease and desist. So, we fight it as much as we can, but people have just got to be aware that the stuff that they buy from there, the quality is going to be poor, especially as we're kind of more conscious now of the quality resolution that we put up on the website. So the quality is going to be poor, and you're just supporting con men ultimately.
That's it. Let's just be frank about it. I was keen to get into the actual starting of I wanted to use that also as a segue into just talking about having a little bit of a setup about how Vice Press came to be, and then to talk about some of your art, Matt. If you could just, I'm sure you've got
From my point of view, it was. The first thought bubble I ever did, so 2013. Yeah. So I was like really new in a way. I hadn't done that much stuff, and there were some people that came along to see me and stuff. And James and his now wife came up, and I thought at first, oh God, here's another one. But then he turned out to be quite nice, as most people do actually that I encounter at conventions and stuff. Because I'm not very sociable, so I find it quite difficult to do them. But then people tend to, 99% of the time, to be really nice. So then we just sort of became friends, and then he did a website blog thing. And then we just have drinks quite a lot in the train station, didn't we?
Yeah,
remember?
Because we live quite close to each other.
Yeah,
so
and then we just talk and be like, oh, it'd be good if we could do what we wanted, like Judge Dredd. That was literally the first thing we talked about. And then we decided to start a company so that we could do Judge Dredd, basically. That was the inkling at the beginning.
On licenses. You guys are cute. Anyway, on licenses, so I've talked about this when we were doing sort of the rehearsal sort of conversations with all the artists. As I've said in Andy's stream, the alternative movie posters as an industry is quite American. A lot of the galleries in America, and so I think there's a very American-centric focus on licenses. So for you guys to come through with Wallet and Gromit and Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and just hit those tones of nostalgia for a British audience and maybe for an American audience as well, depending on some of that stuff does permeate.
If we got Doctor Who, that would go.
The Prisoner was a surprise. We sold more
Prisoner was really big in America.
To the US.
Oh, really?
Mm.
But yeah, so I suppose you're sort of doing what you're going with what you like, I guess. But but is are there more of those sort of Anglo-centric sort of licenses that you're eyeing up?
Well, Doctor Who would be a good one, which we've tried for in the past. And then I don't know, what else is there? Some indie films and stuff might be cool.
Yeah, so I think stuff like we set up Vice Press because we wanted to do stuff that we enjoyed, and that was why the 2000 AD stuff came out, because both me and Matt read 2000 AD. And equally, like with the Wallace and Gromit, you've already mentioned those. That the idea behind what we wanted to do was we wanted our business model very much to appeal to the fans of the properties that we're doing. So we wanted to aim at markets, use this kind of alternative movie poster kind of thing that had popped up in the States and was going really well, and you can kind of credit that to people like Tim Doyle and Justin Ishmael and those folks. And we wanted to look at it in terms of, if we went and just replicated it, we'd just be duplicating what other people have done. So like the guys at Black Dragon Press, they've got a USP in terms of what they do. We wanted very much to focus on properties that we enjoy and we like, and that we think that there is a collector market for of some description, so cult properties. So we very much stuck to stuff that at least one of us like The Prisoner was new to me when we started. It was Chris Weston that asked us, because he really wanted to do The Prisoner. I spoke to Matt about it. Matt was like, oh god, yes,
I love it.
You know, I kind of binged through it in a couple of days, and we thought, yeah, let's crack on with it. So it would be great to do more. It's just finding stuff. So there's, you know, things that in a couple of years that are on now might become cult, but we're going to focus on still trying to kind of find those opportunities and where they lie. And if people have suggestions, like Hammer Horror would be great, but we don't want to do Hammer Horror while we do
one sort of, didn't we? We did that Dracula really early on.
Yeah, with Francesco Francavilla.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to do that while we do Universal Monsters. So there's always stuff that we're going to come back to and come round to, and you know, Cornetto trilogy is a really good example.
There have been some suggestions that people want to see.
Yes.
Here we go.
Monty Python is in there. Trumpton.
Yeah, Holy Grail would be good.
Trumpton.
No.
Wow. Pew Pew. Barney
It's really niche.
Pew.
Trumpton.
Well, for my mum's benefit,
It's a
Pew Pew. Barney McGrew.
Green. It's like a
Cuthbert.
kids animation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pew Pew. Barney McGrew. Cuthbert Dibble Grub.
Oh, is that what it's from? Oh,
so.
no.
With Nail and I hope I pronounced
Yes.
Oh,
that's a yes.
that would
That's
be
a good
incredible.
it. Okay, Ben Wheatley.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben Wheatley.
Ben.
We've actually spoke to Ben Wheatley. We did High Rise, didn't we? That's Ben Wheatley.
Yeah. Oh, God,
We're gonna have Faulty Towers.
No.
Does anyone really want a faulty tower? Do you want a picture of a
We're
hotel?
suggested here. Scanline Thoughts did it.
Picture of a Torquay hotel.
We
I
also
love faulty towers. But yeah, no.
we also have Lock, Stock and Barrel, I guess, is it? Or
No.
Lock, Stock?
That has not aged well, that film.
No.
It doesn't. I haven't watched
Guy
it in a long
Ritchie's
time.
sensibilities are very
So,
laddish. Not nice.
A lot of those.
That's true.
A lot of those titles are from handmade films. You know, a lot of the Monty Python films with Nail and I and stuff like that. We'd love to do some stuff with handmade films, and we did approach them very early on, but it didn't work. We were still a very small company at that point. We are still a very small company, but I mean, customer base wise. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there we'd love to, and yeah. Red Dwarf's another one, but does Red Dwarf?
We did speak to Red Dwarf, didn't we?
Yeah,
And
you know,
it
Red
was
Dwarf would be
maybe
great.
going to happen, and then it didn't. I'd like to do Red Dwarf.
Isn't Red Dwarf the longest running series or something like that, or still there's something?
It's been going since like 1988, hasn't it? On and off.
Yeah. My dad used to love Red Dwarf.
The same. What's different compared to other stuff, I guess, like Star Trek and stuff, is it's the same cast, isn't it? Red Dwarf. So they've just got old.
Yeah.
And they're just old men now in space, which is quite funny.
And the new stuff on Dave's brilliant as well.
I've heard. I haven't actually seen any of it.
So it's not bad. It's all right. There's one episode, I can't remember which series it was, where they go back in time and they meet Jesus Christ, and it's really funny. They're like at a table talking, and one of them just says, "Oh, Jesus," and the guy on the next table turns around, he's like, "Yeah."
that was kind of like Better Than Life. That was on the tier with when they did episodes like Better Than Life and Backwards and stuff.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay,
great.
Guys, I have another couple of questions from the audience. Martin Lindsay wanted to know, how do you guys decide what property to make something for? Is it popularity? Is it license approval? How's that?
Is it gonna make us money? No, I'm being flippant. Is it some? There is a degree of truth behind that. One, do we like it? That's the kind of thing. Is it something either Matt, I, or both of us care for?
Yeah.
Is it accessible? And we don't know that until we try. And is there going to be a customer base for it? Is there going to be a want for it? They're the kind of things that we look at.
That's you think a lot about that sort of stuff, don't you? I sort of just go in my head on/off switch, yes or no.
Yeah.
My first gut reaction. Yeah.
1 or 0, Mr. Robot.
Yeah, binary decision making. It's fine, but you have to. I mean, if you.
But then you do need to do what you say, because otherwise, we'd be ruined, wouldn't we?
Yeah. So you have to. Yeah. Is there a want for it? Is there a need? There are loads. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are loads of films that personally we would love to do stuff for, but then you have to kind of reality check. You're spending X amount of tens of thousands on a license or however it is. Is there going to be a market for it?
Yeah, you were saying I won't name stuff, but you described one particular license being the cost of a very nice car.
Yeah.
For one film.
Yeah, for one film.
Okay.
But
I have a couple more, Gareth.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, that's great. It's great. I can't believe. By the way, we've got 120 people watching.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody.
And so Ian Fraser wants to know: do you just pay for a license when you do a release, or is it an annual fee, or does it vary? Since we're on the licensing.
If I told you that, Ian, I'd have to kill you.
I don't know. What is it,
it's very different. It's different. I mean, I can't go into a lot about it because they're all NDAs.
Okay.
A lot of them, but it varies. So you have to use a degree of.
There's lots of negotiation. And talking.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, and Scanline Thoughts, who suggested Faulty Towers, he wants to know: will there be another documentary on movie posters like the 24x36 documentary a couple years back?
Not that I know of.
I mean,
who's he asking?
I don't know. I guess
maybe he's asking.
Probably will be, but I don't know that.
So tweet Scanline if you know the answer to that question.
The thing is,
sure, somebody will make one.
Yeah.
Maybe since you were part of Amelia Hendricks' documentary, maybe there's going to be some more. Maybe.
I spoke to the guy, Kevin, that made 24x36.
Yeah.
He was going to come over to the UK and interview a bunch of UK artists, but then I don't think it panned out for some reason.
I'm glad you mentioned Amelia because she is brilliant.
Yeah, Amelia
she did a great job. And Amelia, I'm going to drop you a message about maybe something longer, some kind of documentary that's longer. Let's have a look at that.
Okay, Chart Leader and Rob Lawrence, they come up with the question again. They want to know what happened with the World End since. Are you able to talk about that, or is it NDA stuff?
Just legal issues.
Yeah, just legal issues. That,
it's stuff that can be ironed out eventually, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're working on it. It's not dead. Don't worry. We're working on it. Everybody wants it to happen. It's just there are some complications.
I'm keen to nudge things to get into some of your art, Matt. If there are, unless there are some more questions.
There's one more question in terms of sizing and when it comes to new open editions, because Dan Sandler wanted to know, because I have a couple smaller ones, for example, like the Baby Yoda from Bruce Burgers behind me. Is there something in the works like that, A3, A4, or even smaller?
Oh, yeah. I think then the Nan Lawson one's going to be a bit smaller. I'm doing some headshots, 5x5.
Yeah, great.
They're not all going to be A2, but they're going to be all of a certain kind.
Yeah.
So if we do smaller ones, they'll all be A3, and then the 5x5s, they'll all be 5x5.
I finally got your droids, by the way, Matt. Thank you for sending those out. Sadly, I didn't get it signed, but it's still cool. I'll have them up.
Did you ask me to sign them?
I asked.
I forgot.
But he's not bitter. He's clearly not bitter. That's not the first time I've heard him mention that.
Oh my God. Failed.
It's okay. It's okay. I still love you guys.
Tom.
I'll sign something else.
It's just an M, really.
I have a couple signs. So it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well, I guess this is a good way of introducing it.
I'm going to let you guys have an AP copy of each version.
Oh wow!
To do your giveaway with.
Thank you. Yes, we're going to do. So later on we have a quiz at 9 p.m. BST. So that's in what 7 hours 26 minutes. That's a long way to go, but in 7 hours 26 minutes, and Matt has very generously offered up some of his APs of this incredible poster. for prizes. So yeah, so if you guys want to win one, you should definitely do the quiz at 9:00. So on this, obviously it was incredible to see the internet response when you did this piece for Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
The 40th anniversary, first artist to do key art for Empire Strikes Back since was Drew Struzan.
I think so, yeah.
Well,
originally, when it was originally being planned, it was going to be a bigger cinema re-release, obviously, wasn't it? But the pandemic sort of halted those plans a bit, I think. So initially, when I was first doing it, in my mind, it was going to be in cinemas everywhere, and then it's not.
Well, I did
on the internet everywhere, so it's just as good, really.
I remember how excited you were about that. I've never seen you as excited about.
It's flipping Star
project.
Wars, isn't it?
I know. And it was phenomenal just to see it all come together as well.
I mean, I
actually put some effort into that poster.
We can see it. It's one of your best pieces in my opinion, which doesn't count for much, but hey.
Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you.
But to see the response, I think there were quite a lot of us were rooting for you, just seeing just how much it sort of, it blew up because it was everywhere.
Really did go viral. It was crazy.
And I think I did see it as a digital poster in the cinema. It's a shame I couldn't, get it out of the, get an actual printed roll on with the.
Yeah, so they have like TV screens on the side now, don't they?
Yeah. Which is heartbreaking, really, but I suppose it saves paper.
What happened to
what,
your
you're like?
shirt?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you
gotta
just
save the paper.
are you going through puberty as we go through today? Is that what's
I'm
happening?
going to start talking like this as well. It was a good poster.
All right, sometimes I think aloud. I'll try and
No,
restrain
you're fine,
myself.
don't
there.
worry,
No,
I was
yeah.
Just you sounded really funny and like.
You went really deep.
Did I?
He wants to get romantic. Barry
You
White
went
style.
slow
Oh,
motion.
I see what we're talking about.
No, you
Okay.
still are, yeah.
Am I still doing
like
it?
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'll drop again. But so the response from the print community, though, when it actually became a screen print, because it was up in the air as to whether it was, and we were all hoping for it. But is my voice just going up and down now? This is not the thing, guys. Okay, in my defense, I've done a lot of talking. I have actually put honey and lemon. I'm gonna have some honey and lemon.
Connection. I think
it's
it's
your
kind of
internet
where
like-
you go.
I know my voice
So what
does
do you
do
want to
that.
ask? Ask
Okay,
it.
yeah.
I'm not going to talk like this. Anyway, so the internet response, the community response to the screen print was insane. You sold a lot of posters. What was the like? It was what in the 6,000 sort of
Something
region.
like 6,000, yeah, I think.
And it was printed by a printer that we've never. Vice
End hymns. So what it was the one printer couldn't do it. Another one was already booked up, and then they'd done something with Joe Bottleneck, a Grateful Dead poster, maybe was it Grateful Dead poster that was timed, and they'd done a really good job for Joe. So Joe suggested them, and I was like, well, we've got to use somebody. So then we spoke to them, and it was she's called Jess, and she was really nice and just really good. Like usually, a lot of time with printers, you kind of don't know what you're going to get.
Sure.
You give them the script, the screen print, and then they deliver you a poster. But there was a lot of back and forth, and we did all the color testing and the paper, and she sent samples, and so and they helped push it even better than it could have been, I think. So that was really good.
Seeing those, it seemed like it was quite an involved process for you because you were posting up, we're getting closer, like in layers. We were seeing layers come through and all of
There's
that.
a lot of back. It was really complicated. Because when I did the art, I didn't know it was going to be a screen print or anything, so I just did it. And then we had to sort of make it into a screen print after, which is kind of more difficult to do, sort of like you do with the Drew Struzan art. It's a lot more complicated. Yeah. So there was an awful lot of back and forth to get it right, but it's better than I could have imagined, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to mine arriving, but I've seen photos of the printed thing, and it looks incredible.
the lower your voice gets, Gareth, the posher you sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can. These are
sorry,
You're touching on some very sensitive subjects here because I try to make my voice sound less posh, generally speaking. I try to sound a bit more. I accidentally. Like,
You
it's
sound
not even
great.
my fault.
I'm
You
sorry.
do sound quite posh, but
Yeah, well,
So-
it's,
Good way.
what?
We're not, you
which
know.
is a bit. It's a bit. We don't need to go into why I sound how I sound.
No, it's fine.
Mum, I love you. So anyway, but yeah, I suppose. Are you able to talk about any other pieces you've got coming up, Matt?
I'm doing a Transformers poster. I like Transformers.
You like Transformers a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Is that for the original movie, Matt? Or
Yeah, 1986 movie. I wouldn't go near the Michael Bay ones, to be honest.
no? How did you like the new Cybertron, War on Cybertron?
I thought it could be good. It was a little bit dour and serious, and
Lot of
the
talking.
animation wasn't the greatest.
Yeah.
I like the idea because they took scans of the toys and animated them, which is cool because then, like, if you're a kid, your toy looks exactly the same as it does on the cartoon.
Yeah.
But then that meant that they're quite clunky because they're just like animated toys, basically. So it didn't have the fluidity of action that I like in Transformers. They were just sort of big, chunky robots. It was all right.
But as I say, well, given that you clearly really, really love Transformers, I mean, surely this is a big thing for you. Surely you should be really happy about the fact that you've got Transformers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll be quite good.
He's a very ecstatic. You can see from. No, it's fine. So
I've got to wait until it's out and for the response because people might not like it. I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm just not going to think about it too much.
I think we should talk about the print behind James right now.
That one that you've got there. You've got a few, haven't you, James?
Yeah, I've got a few bits and bobs to show you.
Ooh.
Let me go back.
If it's show and tell, do you want to take the? You take the wheel.
So obviously we have today Tom Whalen's The Thing coming out. So excuse the shine because it's just in a sleeve, so it stays up. So that's all printed and ready to ship next week. So this will be on sale via a link we'll give you in a little while at 1 p.m. as a pre-sale.
It's really nice as well. It's like.
God, yeah.
It's not 1 p.m. because it's already gone 1 p.m.
And that's blue paper, so it's not blue ink. The paper itself is blue, and it honestly
looks
so nice in person. It's ridiculous.
So
Just pull it out of the sleeve, James.
I'm going to now. So this is coming out at 2 today, and then it'll be up on the website for general sale. So I must add that the pre-sale we're putting up at 2, that isn't all the copies. They will be. We are reserving some till 5 o'clock later on.
Yeah, he really nailed it. He needs to do some more John Carpenter.
Yeah, I've kind of decided now that I really want that.
It's great. Well, I'll send you a copy, Gareth. So
thank you.
So we've got that.
Don't. What are you doing? This is live.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be like, all you have to do is ask, and you get a free poster.
No, everything.
All you have to do is put all the effort into setting up an online comic convention.
Yeah, all you have to do is
How much
spend.
is it? 50 quid, James.
The variant is 55.
55 quid.
The regular is 45.
5 quid, and you can have it.
Okay.
So we've got that as well as Matt's Jaws. We haven't got a printed copy of that. The first 100 of Matt's Jaws will get the limited edition pin, the giveaway pin that we're doing with that for fun as well. So they'll be on sale via vice-press.com/AMPjam. Easy.
Oh, but it's not going to go live till 2 p.m.
No.
Okay,
No,
so people know what the
2.
link is now.
Are we going to post that up in like
Vice?
Yeah, we'll post it up. That'll be posted in the
bottom or
Vice Press group,
people can see
community
it, so.
group, and also in the AMP.
I'm just going to watch our viewer numbers go down now.
I mean, there's no point. It's literally not going on sale.
It's not going on sale yet.
Yet.
I mean, thank you so much for putting that out and giving us a pre-sale stuff.
Good.
Technically
Got something
speaking,
else as
Do you
well.
want to see a tease of something we've got coming out a week on Tuesday?
hell yes.
So last year at Thought Bubble, we had some They Live pins that we had, and people were asking about
I've got
those.
the pink and blue one.
Oh, cool. So folks have kept asking when are they going to be on sale, when are they going to be on sale. So the idea behind those was we wanted to release them with a poster. And a little while ago, we asked Drew Millwood, who's one of my favourite artists to do a poster for. They
He's
Live.
great. He's really great.
Drew's again quite local to us and is a really
Yeah.
nice guy. So this is his
Oh,
They
that is
Live
awesome.
poster.
Nice.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. I've got a
It's
few of
gonna
his
be-
Foo Fighters posters because every gig I've been to seems to be a Drew Millwood poster.
Drew's fab. He's cool. He's really good, and he's
That one's
he's
all
proper
shiny ink,
This
isn't it?
one's the variant, which is the shiny metal
That is
as well.
super cool.
Metallic. So there's a little bit of a sneak tease for you in terms of something else that's coming up. So they'll be on sale with the pins. They're quite a small edition. I think the regular is only something like 150, and I think the variant's 75, something like that.
I was surprised about
off the top of my head.
I was surprised about the thing being such a small one.
Yeah. Well, it just goes back. It just counteracts the whole, offsets the editions things, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
what was I going to say about? I was going to say something else about those, but I can't remember now. So,
Sorry, that's me. That's my fault.
They are
No,
posters.
you're fine.
They are
Oh,
posters.
they were printed. They're printed by a company called Prince of Thieves in the UK, who Drew uses for a lot of his things.
Oh, we've not used them before, have we, Stu?
No, and they
But they're
came
really
out.
nice.
They're really good. And it
They
just
do
goes
quite
back
a
to
lot of
what
gig
Matt was
posters,
saying.
don't they?
Yeah,
Prince of Thieves.
There's loads of great printers, and I think it's good to use printers that the artists do, and just really pushing them in terms of what they're able to do. But it made sense with Prince of Thieves because they do a lot of Drew's work, so they know how to nail it.
Speaking
They
of
really did.
speaking of printers, just as a because this convention will continue. One of the things that we want to do soon, or at our next event, is to have a session involving printers. So if anybody is watching that runs a printing company, get in touch. Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I was going to say that if everybody who's currently watching the stream bought an editions, some of them would miss out on a pin, because there's more than 100 people watching.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
there's always a little bit of an allowance, but yeah, they are. They will be up, and we will know. I have set a mechanism. I have set some proper coding. So if you genuinely are in the first 100, you will get a pin. It won't be based on the first 100 we pack.
Very professional of you. When I do things like that, I just chuck it in. Like with my store.
There we go. Random. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so it will.
I don't go promising to the first 100. I just say you might get one.
Yeah. Well, this way it's like if you don't get a pin, you genuinely weren't in the first 100.
That's quite nice.
There's some more questions coming. I feel like we should do some questions because we've got 134 people in right now.
Yeah, there have not been that many questions, but
Ask questions, guys.
they basically go in the same direction of like what kind of license you want to do, more in direction TV, for example, or what would you love to do, and also is there going to be more Star Trek, for example, and Transformer headshots. That's what people want, Matt.
Transformers headshots, yes.
Whoa.
Well, I had this thought about when I did the big shots. So I did these
Yeah.
Blade Runner ones that were bigger because they had to be screen printed.
They're great.
But I thought I always liked how Jason Edmondson, with the eyes, when he does a bigger character, he does them like actual size. So he does like Godzilla.
Like Bruce
Yeah.
the Shark.
He does
and
it big
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Godzilla's
Rex,
big.
T-Rex.
So if I did Transformers, I'd like to do them bigger because they are bigger. So like if we did Ghostbusters, I'd do the headshots of the Ghostbusters, but then a stay
massive
one that's really big.
Oh yes.
Which is just ripping off Jason Edmondson, but it's a good idea.
No, I do get what you mean, I've got his T-Rex, and I would like it bigger because Jaws is bigger than the T-Rex. T-Rex is definitely bigger than
T-Rex head
Jaws.
is quite narrow though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's just the eyes. So. Yeah, there's one.
Deadpool one. I've got his little book over here. In
It's
fact,
like-
it's on Bruce the Shark at the minute.
I've got one of the originals.
It's
Someone
the-
got me the
you've got
Batman.
the-
I've got the Batman 1989.
The cosplay one.
That's just reminded me of something that I'd like to ask you, Matt, because
Go on.
I know that speaking of Jason Edmondson, he's well known for his ability to separate stuff, and apparently he gives a lot of advice in that book that you got on your shelf with the Jaws. With Bruce.
Visceral.
Yeah.
What book? What
there's-
book have I got on my shelf? What?
No. Sorry, James has got Visceral,
so I know
but
what
by
you're talking
Jason.
about.
But a couple of the artists that I've been, having spoken to a couple of the artists that we've got on, they said that you're a master at set.
Well, what happened was, it's interesting you should mention those Simpsons. When I was trying to do separations for one of the first complicated ones I did was my original Guardians of the Galaxy, the Star Wars one. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't work it out because if you don't know, you just don't know. So I asked Jason because I'd seen his Batman ones, the 1966 ones, the Joker one was really good, and he was really helpful. I remember he messaged me some tips, and then he even sent me one of the files, so that, like, I could look at how he broke.
You see the break of the layers.
Yeah, and then I slowly started to work it out, and then I've just worked it out because you talk to printers and you work it out over time.
Sure.
So then I just pass that, because that happened for me. I just pass it on. So when artists come to me and ask for help, I just go, all right.
Yeah, Matt Griffin in particular was talking about his Dune poster. Said, I didn't know
That's
how.
a real ball ache to do as well. I've been doing separations for that, honestly. It's a nightmare because it's all gradients and different colours and gold and all sorts of stuff. It's like, all right, I'll do it.
He said, I have no idea how you're going to do this.
It's for vice press as well, so I've got to make sure it's good as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So were you referring to his original one that he did for Bottleneck of his cover, or his?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I know. Yes. No, I don't know. I wasn't going to mention the new one
for the David Lynch.
Oh no, I think he has
I'd
teased
say.
it. I think he's teased
Yeah,
it
yeah,
now.
Lynch, yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
he's done one for us. That one, because of licensing restrictions, that one is a Vice Press and Bottleneck joint. His Matt Griffin's joint for the David Lynch movie, which is beautiful. It is gorgeous. It'll just be available through Bottleneck because of licensing restrictions. It will be available to buy worldwide, but just we can't sell it. And I think we're aiming for New York Comic Con for that, are we, Matt?
That was the original plan, yeah. And it should be fine to do it because it's all ready. It's all set to go.
Yeah. So we will have Matt on as well, Matt Griffin on in the future, and that we can elaborate on that. And I think we need to wrap it up a little bit. Or do we, Gareth?
I mean, we can. I think because we've got an hour break after this, so I think with all the sessions where there is an hour, basically, just so you guys know, not all the sessions will finish like on the hour because we need a bit of changeover time. But this one is going into a break, so we could afford a few more minutes to get questions in.
Well, sure. Okay. If anyone's got any questions,
I can stay for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Griffin is asking again. What have you got coming out from Matt Griffin? He's awesome.
I've just said.
Yeah.
I've just said. He knows.
I just wanted to shout it out.
Sarcastic, is he? Yeah.
And he's got another.
Do you got a Transformer preview somewhere, Matt?
You posted a sketch.
Yeah.
We'll retweet that. We'll retweet that.
Okay, Jason Kirkos, you will see that on there. Is Matrix in the works at some place?
No.
Nope on that.
Matrix would be cool, but it's just difficult.
Yeah, sorry, James.
No, it's always. I mean, it's one of those.
You can't get likeness for that, surely. So.
Yeah.
So unless you want a black poster with green, coding on it, that's about all you can do.
Okay.
So did we just list the Matrix?
No.
No, just saying to do a poster because you could do the
licensing
octopus thing. That's about it, couldn't you?
Or the Nebuchadnezzar, and maybe you could do all sorts. No, we won't talk.
But no likenesses. But yeah, Chart Leader has a good question. Thank you for that, Matt. How's it going with the unicorn?
Oh, so the mold is all ready and set, and we're just waiting, and then I've got to get a box sorted out. So we're doing a display box with like a foam insert, so it's all nice. Because it's not going to be a resin type vinyl thing. It's metal, so it's going to be
wow.
A big.
It's going to be a paperweight
diecast. Yeah, it's going to be pretty chunky. Hopefully,
nice.
It's really sharp as well.
Okay. A bunch of people asked earlier that is there going to be a Chadwick Boseman Black Panther tribute at some point? Are you willing to do that, or how? Let me ask you first. How did it affect you at all?
Yeah, well, it was a really big surprise. I personally, I can see why artists would want to do a tribute because it's like that's what we do. We draw pictures, so you want to do something as a tribute. And I've done it in the past. I did a tribute piece for Leonard Nimoy when he died, but I don't know. It just felt like such a shock. I just didn't know what to do. I was actually working on a poster design for it with Grey Matter Art last year, and it had the tree and the panther and all the purple, in the afterlife and stuff, and it just feels really like a bit weird at the moment. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Okay, James,
I probably will do it because it's such a good movie, and I wanted to do a poster for Black Panther when it came out, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah.
It's
James,
just handling. Oh, sorry.
I feel so sad now. It is just gutting.
Sorry.
No, but it's gutting. It's absolutely
really
gutting.
It's such a good movie.
James, how was it for you when you heard the news?
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly sad, isn't it? I think, it kind of reminded me of the
He's
whole
awesome
Bowie
though as well. When you think that he was sick for 4 years,
Yeah.
he did all of those films, and he's so good in them. Like we watched the Five Bloods, and he's only in it a little bit, but he's just awesome in it as well.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
It just kind of showed how, I mean, he always had this air of how classy he was and how gracious, and he just seemed to be so caring and considerate. And I think it just showed, this kind of was one of those weird things that it just kind of in the end he just cemented that, in terms of he's going to have this tremendous legacy. He's just going to leave behind such a huge influence on what he's done for, just look at all, there's so,
I mean, that Black Panther movie, it's like top 5 superhero movies, isn't it? It's so good.
Yeah,
all these kids that can look up to that, and just that strength of character to do what he did, and it was just classy right until the end. And I think it's incredible, and it just shows that maybe all of us don't need to share as much as we do publicly online and Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't live my life online. I do my business.
Work. You live your work life.
And we're not knocking anybody that's doing
No, people can do that if they want. People do whatever they want, but
and it's just, I think, it's a tricky one to how to navigate it in the right way. And I think Tim Doyle's doing one that's going, or even I think all proceeds are going to a charity, and it just and,
if you did something, you would 100% do it as a charity release, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
We've got probably I was going to say we've got probably like a couple more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Pete wanted to know what the size of the run size of the unicorn will be. Is there any?
500. There's 500 that I'm made.
Cool. Anything else?
Are you gonna before they go out on sale? Are you gonna lay them all in rows like terracotta army? Sort of. No. Cool. No, just asking.
Eileen wanted to know, Matt, what key art for what kind of film would you love to create?
Well, obviously, like a Marvel film would be great, but science fiction. I really like science fiction films, so it's just something like that would be great. Yeah.
Okay.
Like if Moon came out now, I would love to have done a post the key art for Moon. That film's brilliant.
Moon was phenomenal.
And we just watched again Midnight. Midnight Special. That is a great film.
Love that one too. That's a good movie. People asking again if we had a smile count, like I had on my podcast from Matt, but sadly this time we didn't.
I probably smile because I forget myself sometimes.
But
yeah.
If anybody wants to watch this all over one again and then send it to us, we'll happily tweet it.
When you went all deep and like,
well,
made me smile.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to say.
I cried inside.
Can I just say one thing before we wrap up as well?
Sure,
I just want to thank Gareth for putting all of this together in the next couple of days. You've done a cracking job with it all. So
thank you.
I know we tease you sometimes, but we really appreciate it. And Tom, thanks for taking part as well.
You guys are great.
Of course.
I've enjoyed
Thank you.
chatting with you. I enjoyed our podcast that we did before, Tom. That was really good.
Thank you.
Even if I seem like I don't and I'm like not smiling and stuff.
No, you do. I had 41 times, remember?
If I smile, then you know that it's good.
Yep. Alrighty. Okay, I think there's some good words in the end here. So thank you guys for stopping by for this podcast. Not podcast. I'm sorry, for this edition.
For AMPjam.
AMPjam, yeah.
That's going to catch on, isn't it?
AMPjam better bloody do.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, James, for coming on and showing stuff. We will have Matt later on, and James, you probably will be watching at least.
4 o'clock, right? 4 o'clock?
Yeah. And if 4 till 6. And if you want to win one of Matt Ferguson's incredible Empire Strike Back posters, join us at the quiz in 7 hours' time.
I'm going to do the quiz. I'll do the quiz. Can I win one, Matt?
No, you cannot win. No.
You can just have one out of the office, mate. That's
But it
fine.
will be super funny, so maybe just tune in anyway.
I mean, James could try, but maybe he's not good enough.
What is the quiz? Poster quiz or film quiz?
Yeah, what's the quiz?
Or
Are you doing it
what
on
is
It's a films. It's films and posters. It's 4 rounds of films, 4 rounds of posters, and Chris Gibson and Dan Andrews are hosting it, and they're going to become increasingly intoxicated as they do it. So it's going to be fun.
Goodbye,
Alrighty,
everybody.
guys. Thank you so much. We see all the other people later, and stay tuned on the AmpJam PosterCon YouTube profile to find the next link for our next show with Sam Gilby.
Cheers, guys. Have fun.
All right. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys. Thanks for everything. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.